In March of 2021, Capcom released Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch, and on January 2022, the PC port for the game was released to the public. With the Sunbreaker DLC being right around the corner, releasing June 30th of this year, I knew it was time to evaluate the price of this addition to the Monster Hunter franchise. Hey Hunters, I'm AMOD, and welcome to the Moderately Outrageous Dinosaur channel, where we review games based on their gameplay, story, music, and visual aesthetic in order to determine whether you should buy a game at full price, wait for it to go on sale, or just skip the title entirely. If this type of review helps you to make a purchasing decision, or gives you the confirmation bias you need to win an argument with an online stranger, then drop a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's dive into the review of Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter, the game about blissfully poking dinosaur ass with slabs of metal, or dying in an onslaught of menus before you can blissfully poke dinosaur asses with slabs of metal. The steadfast gamer makes it to the fabled endgame clad in the most battle-hardened prehistoric genitalia, while the weak, well, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. For a new player, overcoming the wall of text that is the introduction can be overwhelming. In fact, for how good the core game is, I found that Capcom really wants you to work for that fun. So allow me to decode the initial 5 to 10 minutes so that I can set you up for what you'll actually do in the rest of the game. Perfect! Now that we've skipped all that pesky dialogue, we can get to the actual game. Monster Hunter sets a loop. You pick a mission, eat dongos for food buffs, find a monster, poke the monster, break the monster, skin the monster for upgrade materials, and repeat. The loop is so simple that even I can't mess it up. But with something so simple, it could feel bare bones if two components of the game were not crafted well, namely the combat and the upgrade system. Thankfully, I get to tell you that these two systems set the perfect handshake to keep the repetitious slaughter of animals rewarding. Let's start with the combat. Monster Hunter is an action RPG, and each weapon operates on a 3-button combat system. You have a light attack, a heavy attack, and a panic attack by pressing both the light and heavy buttons at the same time. Each of these weapons integrates these input commands in very different ways and implements different strategies. The Greatsword, for example, focuses on single charged attacks and careful positioning before unloading the unholy wrath of Elmer. That's right, Nargacuga. Last time you're gonna make fun of me for eating glue sticks, you little bitch! Let me quickly summarize what the strategy for each weapon is. The Dual Blades focuses on rapid consecutive weeaboo damage. The Longsword focuses on single slicing weeaboo damage. The Greatsword is for eating glue sticks. The Hammer focuses on smack damage. The Hunting Whore focuses on raw damage. The Insect Glaive focuses on pole vaulting. The Sword and Shield, that's for Joe Cat. The Switch Axe is for people who can't commit to Greatsword. The Charge Blade is for rocket scientists. The Heavy Bowgun focuses on doing real damage. The Light Bowgun focuses on how it doesn't do as much damage as the heavy bowgun. The bow is for speedrunners, the lance is for poking, and the gun lance, well, that is for gun. What I'm trying to say is that every weapon provides a unique gameplay style. If you ever get tired of your current weapon, you can simply just try another one and it will completely change the way you play the game. Each of the weapons is usable at any skill level, but they reward players who find the nuances and integrate those hunt to hunt. For instance, let's go back to our paste-eating Greatsword player. Greatswords have 3 different charge levels. Greatsword users can skip a level of the charge by activating a shoulder tackle maneuver. This grants super armor and lets you power through a monster attack in order to gain a positioning advantage. Also, this bumps you forward a charge level, taking you from doing this to this. It's not just Greatswords that play like this though. Every weapon has these intricacies, and this is what makes combat in Monster Hunter games fun. We haven't even touched the stuff that Monster Hunter Rise has added yet. Monster Hunter Rise has added additional combat options through the introduction of switch skills. Switch skills are additional combat skills that you can activate throughout your hunt. Some of these abilities are activated at the cost of your wire bug gauge, shown at the bottom of the screen here. These skills add a needed playstyle variety for veteran players, while not being a cumbersome barrier to new players. It's as easy as just pressing a button. No complex combo, just hit one button and your brain can reward you with the happy brain chemical whenever you manage to hit your 1,000 Years of Death lance attack. In addition to switch skills, Monster Hunter Rise has also added wire bugs and palamutes? Dogs? They're literally just dogs. As a quality of life enhancement, wire bugs give players the ability to run up walls pretty much indefinitely, and palamutes grant you a quick mounted option when navigating the map. Outside of travel, you won't use them too much, but it is an appreciated improvement for those moments of travel. So at this point, you've run to the monster through a tactical combination of bug and dog. You had a lot of fun poking the dinosaurs in the butt. You've collected a boatload of upgrade materials. Now what? I'm glad you asked the question that I made you ask. Monster Hunter's secondary support system can finally come into play. This next step builds out the why and why do I hunt. Once you finish your hunt, you'll go to the blacksmith and you'll have the ability to craft armor and weapons that'll give you all the skills to make your next hunt easier.
And thus, the loop begins!
The feedback loop of hunting and building creates a series of short-term goals. This means that the player always feels like they are completing some kind of project, be that the creation of new armor or a weapon. Coupled with the engaging combat, it's very easy to lose track of how long you've been playing this game. On top of that, the game is routinely updated with additional monster releases for free. This gives access to new armors and weapons that are oftentimes better than the previous armor in certain ways. This means that the game has staying power, which, to me, is a pretty amazing value proposition by Capcom. Capcom has also taken some of the old historical concepts, like gathering herbs for potion in the open world, and pushed them to auto-generated farm systems, so that you spend more of your time hunting rather than collecting materials. All of this can be done with friends too. You have the option to play Monster Hunter co-op or solo. Monster health is scaled based on the number of players in your party, so there's no advantageous way to play. Just play it the way you want to play it. The only bad gameplay element are the Rampage quests. Rampage quests are a form of siege defense quest. Every Monster Hunter game has a siege mission, where you just fight a big monster that you just shoot to death with turrets. Going from the intricate combat of your weapon to the ballista is boring. All you do in the ballista is hold the right trigger. Capcom, nobody likes this. Get rid of siege monsters. Luckily, this is probably 2% of the game. Overall, the gameplay is the appeal of Monster Hunter, but it can feel overwhelming when you're diving in for the first time. I'm actually going to throw some links in the description to Gaijin Hunter and Arrekz. These channels have some excellent content, including weapon guides and beginner guides, that can help you demystify the introduction to these games. Now, let's talk about my second favorite part of the game, the music. Oh, the music. The music for Monster Hunter adds to the thrill of adventure. Each monster has their own theme that plays when you encounter it in the wild. These tracks are usually fast-paced and add a sense of danger to your foe. This is exactly the tonal messaging that should be conveyed to the player. I mean, do you see that cat? It just shot a death laser out of its ass. I would say that this is a cause for urgency if ever there's been one. The best moments are when you're fighting your primary target and you've lost track of your surroundings. It's just you and that monster. And then all of a sudden, you hear the track shift to a different monster's theme. You turn around and oh, holy shit, is that a basil goose? The track set the perfect atmosphere for the player and functionally clue the player into their surroundings. And I also couldn't talk about Monster Hunter without talking about the most iconic theme song in gaming history. Proof of a Hero is the Monster Hunter theme song, and every time I hear it, I think, oh yeah, it's time to adventure around and poke some dinosaurs in the butt. Did I really write poke dinosaurs in the butt? It's bold, and it stirs my adventuresome spirit within my gaming dungeon. It stirs my soul within my gaming dungeon. I'm not crazy enough to go outside in a land rampant with dinosaurs. The music helps to establish an atmosphere within the game and is a critical success in Monster Hunter Rise, which takes me to the second half of the overall art equation and the visual design. Monster Hunter Rise takes inspiration from traditional Japanese culture through the design of its architecture, all the way down to the way that they introduce new monsters. Each monster is introduced with an introductory cutscene to build the spectacle of this predator. These cutscenes are illustrated in a traditional Japanese theater art style called No. Let's actually take an example and look at how cool this makes the monsters out to be.
In the halls of Inferno roam the restless souls. The lone monarch approaches with the fire he controls. He's here to judge the wicked who sully his domain. To damn them with his rage to eternal pain. Swift as wind his punishment, absolute his reign.
These cutscenes build a bit of suspense for you about the challenge that's looming over your head. I'd say that this is probably the coolest thing that was added to Monster Hunter Rise as opposed to World. The maps are big, they're inhabited by loads of smaller creatures, making them feel like they're living biomes. Upon first impression, I felt compelled to explore each zone. But now that I'm rounding the 60-hour hump, I'm a little less impressed with the maps. This fluctuation in map captivation is pretty normal for the life cycle of a Monster Hunter game, though. The focus is on hunting monsters rather than exploring the maps to find secrets. Capcom wants you to know where all the small monster packs are and where all the mining nodes are so that you aren't hunting to find these smaller gathering materials. It should be noted, Monster Hunter Rise took a step down in graphical fidelity from Monster Hunter World. To me, it hasn't bothered me because the game is stylized to fit the console limitations of the Switch. Monsters are still large and foreboding, the maps are still picturesque and memorable, but it's not going to be winning any awards for lifelike scenery or the most realistic horse nut. We all know Rockstar currently holds that title. I also wanted to take a minute just to talk about the Gathering Hub. The Gathering Hub gives off a feeling of security. You see the little cats making dongo dough for your next hunt. You have your palicos training. Wait, did I talk about palicos? Palicos are your own personal little cat buddy who will assist you on your hunts. They aren't super impactful, but there is a little kindred spirit between you and your little animal friend. I named mine after my cat, Happy, who is actually not happy at all. You have this fat painter on a frog who paints all the portraits of the monsters. All of these characters tie together to form this symbiotic community with a common goal of surviving. It's not a world-shattering gaming breakthrough, but it's a nice reprieve from the hustle and bustle of probing dinosaur anus. So, if we were to do a current tally, the gameplay is phenomenal, the music is exhilarating and engaging, the art direction, biomes, and aesthetic is functional and stylish. So, how's the story? Woof. Recall back to the beginning of the video. What did I call the dialogue? Now that we've skipped all that pesky dialogue, that's right, it's pesky dialogue. There is no relevant story to Monster Hunter. No dragon that has keys to nuclear silos. No mad scientist T-Rex with poison to disperse through a sewer. No, nothing. Just dinosaurs with bad attitudes. They probably have bad attitudes because some asshole with a spear keeps killing their friends and taking their tails to wear as jockstraps. Honestly, this is a little frustrating because in Monster Hunter World, we kind of got a story. Instead of having some program write a story from watching 10 million hours of Godzilla movies, there was actually an evil dragon who had to be stopped because he was causing the other monsters to go insane and kill everything. Now the story is that there are these brainwashed white women who directly control this pair of necromorph lightning dragons. Or something. But we need to protect them? Why? First thing I do is make a cardboard box and set those girls out on someone else's front porch like an abandoned puppy. Why do I need to protect the destructive kimono lady? Not only that, but the game flips between voice-acted dialogue and text boxes, which have two different skip buttons. In voice-acted cutscenes, you have to press the start button. In text boxes, you have to press A. What is this? Some kind of horse crap minigame for 2022? Is it part of a secret satanic ritual where if I speedrun going through all the dialogue, I'll unlock a better story? Now, for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know that I think the public places too much emphasis on narratives in games. But it irritates me when I see a game take steps backwards. This is a game about hunting monsters. We aren't expecting you to write The Catcher in the Rye, just something more compelling than do it because I said so. If a narrative purpose is important to you, you won't find it in Monster Hunter Rise. So, the story isn't good, but that isn't bad. The Monster Hunter franchise is focused on the spectacle of poking large monsters with sharp objects. It's a game for gameplay's sake. Monster Hunter Rise is more Monster Hunter, and you know what? That's a good thing. I didn't sink over 600 hours between Rise and World for the gripping narrative. I mean, we all know what happens when Monster Hunter tries to tell a cohesive 3-part story. While I do think that Capcom owes us a better narrative, Monster Hunter delivers in so many other aspects that we can look past a weak storyline. This game respects your time and always seeks to innovate on the gameplay with each addition to the franchise. The music is functional and energizing, the world inspires adventure, and the combat is intricate and rewarding. Regardless of the story, this is a world that I would want to live in. Fictionally, I would not want to live in a world where dinosaurs are running rampant throughout the woods. Monster Hunter Rise gets my full price seal of approval, and now is the perfect time to get into the game with the Sunbreaker DLC right around the corner, releasing June 30th of 2022. One other thing I wanted to mention to any new Monster Hunter players is that the community around the Monster Hunter games is awesome. Lots of people are looking to help out on quests and can be found on the Monster Hunter community discords, so you never have to hunt alone. If you enjoyed the review, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.